Hello, my name's Scott and welcome to the Living History School. Today I'd like to show you how to basically make char cloth. And char cloth is used for starting fires with flint and steel. So I'm going to teach you how to make it by just using simple materials that you can gather pretty much anywhere. Well, what you need to do is you can find yourself a little tin. It could be any type of tin. The easiest type of tins are it's kind of the Altoids tins you can get. After you eat the little candies out of there, what you do is you just basically poke a hole right in the middle of it, and that's what's going to let the smoke out when you're making your char cloth. But you can use all kinds of tins, it doesn't matter, as long as it's some kind of tin that has a lid on the top of it. These are kind of easy to get. And then you'll need some ticking or 100% cloth, and I like old ticking, and you can get this type of ticking. It's been around for, I don't know, 100 years, probably Civil War before. And you can still get this at the fabric store, this kind of pattern. It's 100% cotton. You don't want any polyesters or any plastic type material in the cloth. You need 100% cotton, and this is nice because it's fairly thick too, and you want it kind of thick when you're making your char cloth. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut this cloth up with this little pair of scissors here, or your knife, or whatever you want to use, and you put it inside this little tin, and then you close it, and then we're going to put it on the coals for basically a few minutes, and I'll show you that here in a second. We'll be putting it on the coals and the fire until it starts to smoke out this little hole, and when it really starts smoking out that little hole, you'll pull it off of the fire and you'll let it sit for a few minutes. You don't want to open up right away because it'll continue to burn it all up to nothing. So you just want to let it sit off the fire, and then in a few minutes you'll open it up, and then you'll have your char cloth inside that you'll use for all your fire starting needs. So when you're doing a living history program and you want to start a fire using flint and steel, you'll have some char cloth already made. Okay, so we're going to stop here, and I'm going to cut this cloth up, and then we're going to put it onto the fire. Okay, so we're gonna just cut this cloth up. Generally, I like to, cut it about like that, because you got to remember when you're making the char cloth, it's going to actually shrink and get a lot smaller than this. I've been starting fires for a while for kids programs. I probably do several times a day, and so I'm pretty good at it. So I can start a fire with pretty minimal little tiny pieces of char cloth. So, and of course they'll probably shrink very tiny. So then you just kind of throw them. Put them inside here. It doesn't matter how you lay them in there. You don't want to put too much in there. You want some room between them. And again, this is just a couple in here. And then we just kind of close the lid, and then we're going to be putting this on top of the coals. But you want a good bed of coals when you're putting it in the fire. I like to use these little scissors. You can get them. They come from China, but they're kind of more historically correct scissors for the time period that I do, instead of using it like modern scissors. But you can use your knife too. Whatever works for you. Okay, we're going to just be putting this box of char cloth on the fire, and this one, the fire's pretty much burned down now, but we have probably enough coals in here to get this into some char cloth. And what I'll do is probably put a few coals around it but you could also do it when the fire's burning pretty hot, and then it makes it go a little faster. But what we're waiting for is just to sit on these coals here until it really starts to smoke out this little hole, and then we'll pull it off and we'll open up and we'll see some charred cloth that you can use for your programs. Okay, we've taken the box off the fire. It's now cooled a little bit, and so we're going to open it up. Basically, we're going to open it up to see the charred cloth in here. So we have see that we have 3 pieces of charred cloth in there, and then you can take this and use it. It's immediately ready to use for your fire starting programs. So thank you for joining me on the Living History School today, and hopefully you learned a little bit about how to make some char cloth, and you'll subscribe to my channel.